Well, hello again. It's me going solo again. And this time I'm talking about the time when we went to the port in Iceland called Grundarfjorour. I think that's how you pronounce it. If that interests you, then watch on. So yes, some of you will know from some of the videos that Mama Jane has a benign brain tumour at the moment. So it's not always able for her to join me to do the videos. So, and today's one of those occasions. Now I'm going to be looking at my notes a lot in this video because there's some unpronounceable names because it's about Iceland. We ended up going to this port when we were on Peninsula, and it's a stunning place to visit. Absolutely beautiful. It's one of those places where you want to get up for the sail-in and be around on deck for the sail away, because it is stunning. That's if the fog allows you to see anything, because it can get a bit foggy there and can be quite low. Now, so it's a tender port, so that means your ship ain't going to dock and you're going to be ferried in by the emergency lifeboats that are on the ship. And I quite enjoy that. When it's done efficiently, I really enjoy the ride across the water in the little boats. I know, I just enjoy it. So it's also a key fishing port for Iceland. So there's lots of activity goes on in this port as well. Most boats go there because it's the gateway to the Snaefellsnes Peninsula, which is an amazing place, as you're going to see by some of the photos and video I've got in this video. Now you can actually spend quite a bit of time in Grundarfjorour because there is some stuff to go and see, and if you're the walking type or the hiking type, then there's some really good stuff for you to go and have a look around. We never got a chance to do it. Anyway, so we were on a shore excursion again, and but we had to wait to get off the ship, and this huge waterfall is visible from the ship, so it's worth watching out for that. And like, you can go and walk the couple of kilometers it is to get right to it. So that's something that some people off the ship, when we visited, they did that. But you can see it's a spectacular waterfall visible from the ship. Also visible is Kirkjufell, or Arrowhead Mountain. Now it's also called Church Mountain sometimes. It's majestic and it's a bit iconic. It's made really famous by its presence in a TV series called Game of Thrones. They filmed quite a lot of Game of Thrones in Iceland, and Arrowhead Mountain is an iconic part of the series. So lots of Game of Thrones fans come to this area just to see this iconic mountain. So as I said, we went to see Snaefellsnes National Park. And on the way, we saw some spectacular scenery. It was amazing. Mountains, lowlands. I'll drop some of the video in for you to have a look at. We went to view. First place we went to was a black sand beach. It's called Djupalonssandur. I'm not going to try and say it. I'm going to put it in. It's not easy to get right down onto the beach, and I didn't make it. So, and Mama Jane certainly didn't make it. So you have to view it a bit from afar, but it is very interesting. It's formed from the volcanic activity, and the sand is formed from basalt and lava. So yeah, interesting place. It was the first black sand beach we'd been to a few since then. And then next place we go to is Arnastoppy Cliffs. Now then, quite extraordinary. Now you get to one end of it, and you'll see from the photo I'll drop in, one of the most photographed buildings in Iceland. It's a real photo stop opportunity, and I'll drop in that in for you because of course I took one. But also then as you walk through, it's stunning. It's an absolutely stunning place. And in the rock formations, you've got all sorts of wildlife living and breeding. And there's a huge number of different seabirds, including kittiwakes, gulls and Arctic terns. And it's stunning. Now there's also some natural sights, and one of them is Gattelkettelkur, I think. And it might not be the most famous one, but it's a rock formation that's been eroded away by the elements over the years, forming a large natural arch with a perfectly round hole next to it, making it the ideal photo opportunity. Of course, I took advantage of that. And then there's also these sea stacks called Longdagraga, I think. And then the end of the walk along the sea cliffs is marked by a statue of Bardur. It's a striking sculpture from local stones taken from the area. And it's a half man, half troll, who apparently is one of the most famous people from Icelandic sagas. Now, I got a bit behind the group, I have to say. So by the time I got to the restaurant, there wasn't much food left. But I'd rather have taken all my photos because I ain't going to get them again. So I had a really good photography trip and sightseeing, breathtaking place. And then not far, next stop wasn't that far, called Grundarfjorour. And it's a tiny Lithuanian church located in the village of Budir. And it's a black church. It's a black, I think, wooden church. And it contrasts wonderfully with the surrounding. So really, again, quite an interesting place. We had a walk down to the beach as well. And that's important because it's, again, a real mix between smooth and rough volcanic rocks with this yellowish, brownish seaweed, which makes it all look really quite fabaroony. I think we saw some swans there as well. It might have been geese. Yeah, not that good at knowing the difference between birds sometimes. And I think they were geese, you know. Then on back to the bus and off to the next trip, next stop, which was our waterfall. Now, to stop at a waterfall in Iceland, it's got to be a pretty good waterfall. And this was called the Grundarfoss waterfall. And as you're visiting it, you're getting there. Look from a distance, because once you get to a certain distance away, you will see better than when you're close up that there's a lady, a shape of a lady in the waterfall. Of course, not a real lady, but it looks as if it's got a lady in the waterfall itself. Very interesting. Then our next call was to the historic Mount Helgafell, the sacred hill. And in many of Icelandic people's eyes, it's a very sacred place. There's a beautiful church there, very Icelandic church. Now it's 73 meters high and it's a tricky climb. I think they deliberately made it tricky so not a lot of people go up. So I only got halfway up. So anyway, that's it. But good, worth visiting because of its cultural significance. And then our last stop was in Snaefellsnes, which is got a famous lighthouse, got some lovely cliffs there, a museum, and then it was a very interesting place. Perhaps the least interesting of the day's events, but still very interesting. And then, having done a circular route around the peninsula, we got back to the ship and got on the tender, and that's it. We had a fantastic sail away, and we've done a separate video about the sail away. So have a look at that as well, because it's really, really good. So that's it. Well worth a visit, and really memorable place to visit. So that's it for now. So it's goodbye from me, and in absentia, it's a goodbye from Mama Jane as well. So goodbye.